you were the lead investigator for this freeway shooting that happened on the 5th of May. And I want to say you had it solved with the shooters in custody within 24 or 48 hours.
Yeah, I do. I do remember that one. Yeah, it was 49 hours is what my partner clocked our investigation time at. But yeah, I do remember that case. But I remember my answer to the phone, and it was Sergeant Richards, and he's like, "Hey, we had a shooting on the freeway, and it was a murder." We showed up on scene, and the patrol officers and sergeant, they had already done a great job. They had secured the scene, and we had a witness who remained on scene. So we worked through it. We worked through the case, and it took several hours. And want to make sure we only have one chance to preserve this evidence and collect it properly and photograph it. So it takes time. And during that time, we conducted interviews of our witnesses on scene, and we're able to gather some information. And then at the conclusion of the crime scene, we had kind of a general idea of what happened, who our victim was, and some information to work off of there. So the following day, based on some information that we have from witnesses, we believe that our victim was possibly at a local shopping mall the day before. So we go there, meet with the security, and start canvassing for surveillance footage. And we end up locating some surveillance footage of our victim and what we believe to be our suspects. And because we're working with Bakersfield Police Department and they believe it possibly could be gang-related, we didn't know yet at the time. We met with them, showed them the images of our suspects, and immediately they knew who they were. They were familiar with our suspects. They were members of a local gang. Now that was probably within about 24 hours of the incident. We had them identified, but there was still work to do. We still had to establish them as our suspects involved in this crime. So once the search warrants were signed off by a judge and the arrest warrants, that was Saturday. There was a large contingent of Bakersfield Police, SWAT, and gang officers went out and served several search and arrest warrants for us, and they were able to take our suspects into custody without incident. Ultimately, our suspects went to a preliminary hearing. They were held to answer. Then a little while later, it went to trial, and a jury decided that they were guilty of the crime that we believed they had committed, and they were sentenced to life in prison with some gang enhancements, plus an additional 30 years.